Ladies and gentlemen, June 20th, 2024, Canoga Park, 2LaneLIVE headquarters. Screwed that one up already, but welcome back to the channel. Today we're going live with Jake Hindes and Prism Supply. We're going to talk bikes, lives, and good times. This episode is brought to you by EagleRider Motorcycle Rentals and Tours. Don't forget to check out 2LaneLIVE.com under the EagleRider tab to see how you can book a trip, save some money, and have a good time while you're at it. Boys, just get into it.
Boy, that was a ripper intro right there.
Well,
I thought it was pretty good.
He's like,
Josh, you deserve more credit.
Thank
You
Yes.
crushed it.
He
It's the
gets a
last
lot of
5
credit.
seconds before we go live that I start to lose my noodles, but it's all right.
that's okay. Your noodle's fine.
Takes a minute to get in
Yeah.
the flow of things. I'm sure you guys can relate to that.
Yes,
Podcasts,
we have some.
lives, not
Yeah.
a podcast, right?
Well, I mean,
Kind of is.
kind of. And they go to streaming after this, all the different services, but
You can check it out on Spotify.
Right.
we don't have any room for error though. We've got to be perfect, right? you can't say bad thing. You got to there's rules here.
Has that
Well,
ever happened?
No, the good thing
No.
is we
Never.
have a lot of errors. In fact, if you see the last video, yesterday's video, at the end of it, there's some bloopers. But go back, watch the video from yesterday with Philadelphia. It was really awesome. The series is great. If you're not watching it, I'm pissed off at you. And if you don't tell your friends to subscribe, I hate you.
Well, I'm gonna have to correct you. We are not in Philadelphia.
We were.
No, we're in the outskirts. We're in Valley Forge,
Okay. Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Transylvania.
And then
Yeah.
we went to Gettysburg. And if you have not gone, we had someone tell us Gettysburg's okay, but you can miss it. And we were like at dinner that night, we were talking about, are we going to miss it? Not going to miss it. And we decided to just bite the bullet and ride the 2.5 hours.
It was a long
out
ride.
there. Yeah. And I am so glad we did. And because I said it in the video, the grounds are reverent. It's just all the stuff that went on there and the carnage and
You
they
can
were-
feel it.
you could
Oh,
feel it. I mean, I got
Really?
down on my hands and knees and just felt the ground, and you can just feel the spirit of the place. Insane.
We actually had a
Goosebumps.
comment today, and someone
Weird.
said that it was one of the most haunted grounds in the U.S., which makes sense because, as Lance said, people got shot and died.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
True,
Can't
that's
wait
what
to go
happened
to
there.
a place where
Yeah.
people got shot and died.
But I that feeling that he's talking about, I mean, I've been in Germany at the Ardennes forest where the Battle of the Bulge happened. And I remember, and it was several years ago, just going, you just get this eerie feeling and like, wow. And that same thing was there. It was like really,
Well, if you haven't gone, you've got to
yeah.
seek these places out. I mean, it's just
Right.
it's worth it. Trust me. And the feeling that you get. And I didn't realize. I mean, you go through all these history lessons through school and that, and you don't even think there was not even a war or a battle at Valley Forge.
Right.
That
We
was
didn't
just
know
a
that.
place where they camped for a couple of years.
So that's why we always say, for us, our Harley Davidsons are time machines. Whenever we go into these small towns or these places, we go back in time, we get history, we fulfill, we see, we share, we tell the story. People always tell us, I went to the same place you went to. And
But
Yeah.
um,
So what was your favorite thing about that trip? One thing.
boy,
Couple of good ribeyes, I'm not going to lie.
I think Gettysburg
Yep.
was like my favorite thing because you do not realize they've erected these statues across the battlefield, and it's where different states, where their encampment. So they mark the territory, but they're massive towers of these, and I think we hit it at the right time of year too, because it had been a little bit wet, and it was just green and beautiful and
right time of day, too.
right time of day. And there's a
When
little.
was that? I'm sorry. I
This
don't want
was
to forget it.
A month ago.
yeah. When did we go? Yeah.
So before
Yeah, it
you
was a
did
month or so ago.
Yeah, it wasn't hot. It was raining.
It was, and the whole trip, as he's mentioned, if people need to go back and look at it, because we also did a piece. We're in the worst neighborhood in Philly. We rode the bikes down, and we were with the Fletcher Street Cowboys, and we got to see, a stable right in the middle of this city that has all these gun violence and different things for these kids, and yet they come in here and they're at solace with the animals that are there. And they opened the gate, and it was this most pristine stables, and they teach those kids how to work and take care of the animals. It was
Pristine
insane.
stables made out of plywood and old 2x4s.
Yeah, but they were painted well.
You know, yeah.
The grounds were kept well, so they keep these kids working and out of trouble.
So going to Gettysburg and seeing that kind of stuff, great moment in life seeing it. But for me, one of the biggest memories of this trip, or one of my favorite things, is going to Fletcher Street, because we were told you're going to go into the hood. Don't film people that you're not supposed to, because they're going to want to get out and ride and do stuff and get filmed and then get paid. Be careful. But when we got there and they opened the gates and we were in there, to me, it was like, okay, this is 2024 affecting my life. I had a feeling of peace and like, wow, this is really great to be here. I learned a lot there being in the hood and seeing what these people do and giving the kids rides. So that was a pretty much of a highlight for me.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
So that was some East Coast history, whether it be Philly or Gettysburg or any of that. You're from North Carolina, so you were kind of surrounded by a lot of that early American history, cool battlegrounds, this, that, and the other. How was that growing up in North Carolina?
You know, I feel like you guys probably appreciate it more than I do because I didn't really know any different. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like people that grow up on the lake, they don't even use the lake.
Yeah.
They don't
Right.
enjoy the lake or a
Right.
pool. That's kind of how it was for me, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we did school field trips
Mhm.
to one of these places and just felt like
Right.
school.
Right.
But
No, I get it.
I feel like I'm at a point now where I'm old enough where I could go back and like, when I hear people talk about it, it's like, okay, I need to experience that again.
Yeah, you'd probably appreciate it a little differently. But you know, it's actually really cool. We've known you for a couple of years, and Harley, we were doing the piece on EagleRider Harley Davidsons, and we met you through Harley and doing these shoots, and it's really cool to have you actually in our studio because you're a great guy, and the stuff that you do and knowing you over the last few years, it's been cool for us to get to know you. And we've had a bunch of other people that we've actually met through these shoots and different things. And finally glad to get you into the studio. We'd scheduled it a little bit ago, but we got a conflict. So welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
He's on a poster or a picture with us because
That's
we're going to
Yeah,
be at
that's
the,
right.
the
Harley Davidson homecoming.
Yeah.
Homecoming.
Yeah.
Now we have to ride. We're taking 5 days to get there. We're doing 5 dealership stops. You want to tell them what
on the
those
way to
deal-
homecoming?
Yeah, I'm going to actually paste them in here, and it's going to look really strange the way it gets pasted, but you guys can figure out where we're going.
So we're going to turn and burn. We're just doing freeway the whole way because we've got to
Just
get
to
to
get there.
dealerships at 4:00 every day to do a meet and greet. And last year on the way to, was it homecoming or it was Sturgis? You guys did the Pan Americas.
Yep.
Tell us about that route because you were out for 6 days. 10
No,
days?
11 or 12 days. Yeah. Was that trip? to
And we ran
Sturgis last
into
year?
you in Wyoming.
Was it Wyoming?
Yeah.
Yeah. At the gas
The
station.
Yeah. We were close to
You were
Sturgis.
Brad had just hooked up with you like a day or two earlier.
Yeah. So my buddy Danger Dan called me. This beginning of, it was like January of 2023. And he's like, hey, you want to go on this? I had just gotten a Pan Am. And he's like, hey, do you want to go on a Pan Am ride with me? And I was like, sure. He didn't tell me like where we were going or what we were doing. It was
Right.
just
I
like,
would
yeah,
never
sure.
say sure to Dan if I didn't know where he was going.
That's what makes it fun.
I would, because that guy's got some adventure under his belt.
He sure does.
Yeah.
He sure does. But I did start to ask him questions like as we were leading up to it. And he was just like, stop asking questions. Dude, just come on the trip with me. Yeah. So there was a group of us that did that ride together, all on Pan Ams, and it was awesome. But we started in New Mexico, did the Colorado BDR, some of the Wyoming BDR, and then went east into Sturgis. And it was,
So BDR, some people might not know
Yeah.
that you did a lot of dirt.
yeah, but I should know what it stands for. Back road discovery routes or something along
Yeah, it
those
is.
lines.
That sounds good.
What is it?
Backcountry Discovery, I think. Discovery Road.
Yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, something like that. You get the gist. Yeah. And so we did it all on dirt roads, and some of it was super technical, like some rocky type passes that we
I mean,
did.
I saw some parts that were a little off kilter, maybe on the front or
Yeah. I mean, we didn't have any broken legs.
no.
Yeah, exactly.
Too soon?
I know. That's like 2 years old now, so that's good.
Okay. All right. All right. Uh-huh. There's some ice. You just happen to go down on some ice.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
not fun. Knew it was broke. I was on the comms and I told these guys, "Hey, I just broke my leg." Like shit.
Very
I don't
casually.
think it was like that.
But yeah, I went into that trip, my Pan Am trip, with a bike that had 2,000 road miles on it or something. It was pretty
Right.
much a brand new bike, and it held up fine. Just doesn't look the same anymore.
Right.
But that's what those bikes are made for.
But I mean, 10 days, 11, 12 days on the dirt roads, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're pound and I was when
We
we were on the
can't.
bikes, I was pretty impressed with them. I mean, it's a bigger bike than I'm used to on my dirt bikes. I'm not riding something like that. But I was really impressed with how well the bike handled, how it could take on the terrain. And it just, to me, it was an amazing kind of, even though we all had a little bit of an issue, it was an amazing trip just to get the feeling of that bike.
What did you do for gas? Like, did you get it back onto the road, find the gas station, then back out into the?
Yeah. I mean, my type A personality, I wanted everything like pre-routed with gas stops and all that. And Dan's like, dude, stop. Just enjoy the ride. Stop worrying about that. We're going to figure it out. And his thing is, the road will provide. That's what he always says.
Mhm.
The road will provide. Sure enough, it did. Whenever we needed something,
Nice.
the road provided.
I mean, when we go on trips, we plan certain trips, but a lot of times we plan where we're leaving from and where we're going. We get the first night, and then a lot of time it's free form. But we're on the road, so there's no worry about gas or anything like that. Yeah.
Yep.
So let's get into Prism Supply and you know, we've done a little research on you and we've got a lot of dirt. Josh, you want to start?
If he brings up anything bad about us, we'll fucking rapid fire back, dude.
So
Take it easy on me.
So
guys.
talk to us. I mean, you've got a website, you got YouTube, you got store, you started this 12, 13, 14 years ago. Tell us a little bit about Prism Supply and yourself and give the viewers a little look into you.
All right. So I run a company called Prism Supply. We manufacture motorcycle parts mainly for antique Harley Davidsons. We get into some newer Sportster stuff, but for the most part, antique Harley Davidsons. That's kind of like our focus. That's our bread and butter. I started the business. I don't even want to say I started it in 2012, but that's when we actually became
You
like
formed it.
a legal business. And at that time, I had a full-time job. My brother Zach had a full-time job. And so we were just building motorcycles for ourselves. And we formed a legal LLC so we could order parts from
Right.
companies at wholesale for the personal projects that we were working on.
So that's how you started it?
Kind of. So
I like that.
I had my first bike was a 1971 Honda CB350. And I was living with my brother at the time. And after I bought that bike, we were just like standing back looking at it. And we were both like, we can make this bike cooler. Like, it's a cool bike, but we can make it cooler.
Right.
And I was a machinist and he was a fabricator. So kind of like with both those trades, we could do anything we wanted to customize a motorcycle. And so like we made a set of clip-on handlebars, if you guys know what I'm talking about, like the Cafe Racer days, where like the handlebars actually clipped onto the fork tubes. So we made a set of those. We made a taillight. My brother made like a full aluminum sheet metal body, like one piece type body. And I posted on this blog and it kind of took off and people were like, hey, where can I buy those handlebars or where can I buy that taillight from? And so at that point I was like, well, hey, let's just try to make a few extra parts. And so we added those to the website and then that kind of snowballed. From there, I got a Harley and then started making parts, like mainly Harley specific parts. And ever since I got a Harley, I haven't gone back.
Right.
I say that I have a Husqvarna dirt bike, but other than that, everything I own is a Harley.
That's an awesome story. I mean, to think about, you just made a part to now Prism Supply has been around for as 12 plus years.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So that happened. And then I was still working full time as a machinist, actually a tool and die maker, as a journeyman tool and die maker. And yeah, so I was doing that. My brother was working full time for a NASCAR team, and I wanted to go back to school. I had an associate's degree at the time, and I wanted to go back to school, so I just had something to fall back on if I needed it. And so I went back to school for mechanical engineering, and I graduated. As I'm going through school, what I'm doing for a job is Prism at this time.
Right.
But I'm still thinking I'm going to get a full-time job when I graduate school that
Right.
pays well, and the whole deal. So I graduate school and then just kind of make the decision to try it out for a few months. So a few months go by and I'm like still making no money, but I'm like, hey, I think things are going to take off. And so a few more months go by and I'm still not making any money. And then a year later, I'm like, okay, well, this is kind of working. And so I guess I'd tell you that story because I would say that we really started 2017. Like that's when I went full time is when the business really started. Before that, it was like a bunch of friends, brothers hanging out, building this brand together. But then that turned into a business in 17,
well, as a banker, we used to look like if you had to have been in business 3 years before we'd lend to you. And most businesses that make it 3 years have a pretty good chance that they're going to make it longer than that. Because that first 3-year term, whether you're investing capital or whether your product's not moving and you're just burning through all of your funding. So we made that turn because I put him and Lance on billboards and they did commercials because he had Setware for 24 years.
25 now.
25 years. Yeah. And Thrashing's now 10.
Yep.
So they made that step. And I always love to walk into places like Setware and Thrashing and Prism Supply and hear the story of how they started and what struggles they had and how they got through that. And then to see, you look and go, now you're in a firehouse, you've got lifts, you've got, right?
Yep.
I mean, you've got a business there that's thriving.
Yeah. Yeah. And so when we started, we were actually building custom motorcycles. That was part of what we were doing. But from the beginning, I knew what we were good at was manufacturing parts.
Right.
And so that's what the end goal was. And we hadn't built a custom bike in 3 or 4 years now. Really? But funny story, first to note here. Mr. Jochen, the CEO of Harley Davidson, actually reached out to us about building him a personal chopper,
really?
Like full rigid chopper. So
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, we're stoked. We're stoked.
Did he give you a concept or did you say go for it?
Yeah, so it's going to be an Evo driveline, but the rest of it is going to be like very 60s style.
Nice. Okay.
Like a traditional 60s chopper. But it's going to be cool. It's going to be really cool.
Hey, we got the scoop. We got the scoop out of Prism
first. Look, I haven't even posted that on our social yet.
See?
You guys get it first.
So how did
really
you come up with the name Prism?
Just was a name that we thought was cool and unique, and I don't know. Some people think it's related to Pink Floyd, and it's not. But just we kind of liked it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's not.
I think they're
not a very
intellectual
cool
guys.
Yeah.
So they were in deep process, and they're like, "Go Prism."
Exactly. That's what it was.
Well, that's really cool, and thank you for announcing that here.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, to me, it's just really cool that. I mean, obviously, doing anything for Harley Davidson is huge for any of us, but that this is a non-Harley sponsored project. This is for the CEO of Harley Davidson. He personally wants this bike, and I think that is so cool.
Yeah, definitely cool. Well, the cool thing is, and I think that when we all went out to the ranch and did that ride, it got personal for all of us with the people that work at Harley.
That's right.
So we all kind of broke bread. We hung out. We kind of felt like, wow, part of the family. You learn.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the things for me that, and we've talked about this a couple of times on the podcast, on the show here, we'd kind of heard rumblings that, people don't ride at Harley, but all of the top people that we've dealt with that were there, I was impressed. They're all on motorcycles, including Jochen.
Yeah.
Right. And the ride that we did was insane. And the time that we spent was great. But I walked away pretty impressed that all of them are riders.
That's right.
And not everyone gets to see kind of the passion that they have about the brand, and we're lucky that we're able to do that. But firsthand experience, I mean, they were riding and they were passionate about the brand.
I mean, it's a shame we have to learn that way. We learn that way, but for all the people out there that you get the groups of haters, which we all have, they have, we have.
We don't have any.
No, me neither. What are you talking about?
Does that hat holster come with the
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about this every time. I don't know why, but we put this product out there because it's something that we felt was useful for people. And we don't care if we'll get people saying, don't listen to the haters. We don't.
Right.
They actually laugh.
It's fun.
A little bit.
But the ones that are funny are the guys that set up an account, no post, fake name, nothing, zeros across the top. And they're commenting, and then you can't comment back to them because they blocked it. It's private. So funny.
Yeah, I know.
So on a positive note, we do have a couple comments for this dude sitting over here in the corner. Feed Big A says, "G'day from down under. Love your channel. Jake, you inspire me to buy a vintage camera, jump on my Harley and make some memories. Much love and respect." And then
Love that.
Rick Dominguez says, "Hey, Jake, what was it like to make the commercial for Harley riding the Revival? I'm a big fan of Dreamboat, the bike you guys restored."
Cool. Good questions. It's
See?
fun.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. So first question was the Revival, the Highway King bike.
Yeah.
I got a call from Harley and they were like, "Hey, do you want to we think you're the perfect guy to do this shoot. It's a vintage inspired bike." And kind of told me about it. And I was just like, yes, like I'm down.
I'm in.
I want to do that. Absolutely. And so it was out here somewhere in the desert. I can't remember exactly where, but it was cold. I remember just being so cold, and I didn't come prepared for it. I think it was in January or February that we shot it.
That's the cold time in the desert for sure.
But yeah, and it was windy.
Hmm.
I just remember like getting wind burnt. But yeah, it was just an awesome opportunity. It was just a huge production. So many big cameras and gear and rigs and food, and people asked me if I wanted another coffee. It's really a special experience. Yeah, so that's kind of like what the shoot day was, but it was a full day of shooting. We did that in one day. Yeah, but
it's
go ahead. I'm sorry.
from behind the scenes. It's pretty crazy, isn't it? When
Yeah.
you've got all this.
So much work goes into it, and that specific launch, that video that we were shooting there was like a 1 minute video.
Right.
We shot the entire day for
Right.
a 1 minute video. Plus there was like photos and stuff too, but
Did they put makeup on you though? We like that when they put makeup on you and then you put a full face helmet on, they never see your.
I had an open face helmet, so they did put makeup on me. Yes.
But you roll into the cafe, you got to get touched up. I think
You're trying to get us more haters now.
the first one that we did that was pretty serious was when they shut PCH down, and people were not really happy with that because it's PCH. It's only
Well, they
two
shut it
lanes.
down in segments.
I know, but
yeah.
they had the big Porsche with the boom camera on it.
Yeah. That's similar to what it was, but it was like an Audi.
Yeah.
Like what's the fancy Audi R8 or whatever, like the wagon one, the SR8. I don't know what it is, but anyway, it's the nice one.
We're flying
With the
down,
camera.
yeah, this way, and he's come, and
Yep,
all of a sudden he just
exactly.
drops the boom in front of you. You're just like, what the hell?
You're trusting the
Yeah.
camera guy.
100%.
You know, you come
And we
out of
got our
town.
wives on our back.
Right.
But those are fun experiences. But it's cool to hear, just the guy from Australia talking about you inspired him to get back out, buy a camera, and
Yeah, it's
isn't that what it's all about, man?
It's kind of crazy for me. Like, I'm just kind of doing I'm sure you guys can relate to this, what I love to do and what I'm passionate about. And I think that just naturally comes out and people, I guess, find that inspirational, but it's kind of cool,
No, it's definitely cool.
So you have other passions like congregation and things like that. Talk to us a little bit about what that show's like, and is it annually? And
Sounds like church.
where do
So
they
it
go to
congregates
find all
in
this
church?
stuff, Josh?
Well,
Bible
if they
Yeah.
just take a moment to look at the video description of the video or the
Josh,
podcast,
people don't read.
People don't read, and that's what I'm saying. Just slow down, read a couple words, look at the description because we got some links.
So what's the website?
thecongregationshow.com,
And what's the Prism website?
prismsupply.com,
And what's the YouTube Prism?
at Prism Supply,
And what's Instagram?
at Prism Supply. Search Prism
Nailed
Supply and you can find it all. Oh yeah, the other question, speaking of YouTube, was, I'll go back to Congregation in a second, but was Dreamboat. I don't know if you guys were familiar with that bike, but it was a 1952 panhead that I found.
Is that the rust colored kind of?
No,
reddish?
no, that was a different one. Those two bikes I found 6 months apart, which is just like insane. Very, very original, very nice 1952s, both 1952s. So anyway, it was the start of our YouTube. I found this bike up in Indiana, and it was an all chrome 1952 panhead. The guy had bought it brand new in 1952, took it apart as soon as he got the bike. Got everything chromed, added a bunch of accessories. You've seen these bikes from the 50s that just have so much stuff on them. They call them garbage wagons. So anyway, I find this
At
bike.
least it's not a boat anchor.
Yeah. I find this bike. We have an internal video guy, and I was like, dude, I think we should try to just capture this. And we had not done any content whatsoever. So we hop on a plane, we fly up to Indiana. I bought a van, which is like a 1976 Chevrolet van, that I found at a swap meet like a year before that. But the guy was like, I'm ready to sell it. So like all the timing was just crazy.
Fate.
Yeah. So flew in, that guy picked us up, got the van, bought a trailer, and then went and looked at this bike. And dude, it was such a special moment and such a special bike for me. And so we did a video series surrounding me finding that bike, as well as getting that bike running. And then I flew the family back down to Charlotte to come see the bike running and ride it.
Actually, I heard that story.
Yeah.
I don't know if you told me that at one point or if that's really special.
I don't think we've talked about it. So
no.
Yeah.
So maybe I saw it somewhere, but I remember the flying the family back part of it. So that had to be really cool.
It was cool. And then like this grown man, it was his dad's bike. So this grown man, like just seeing this bike running and like big kind of guy, like tough guy, crying.
No way.
That this like his dad's bike is running in front of him. Like
Wow.
It was incredible.
Can't get those back. Those are cool moments.
Yeah.
And you still have it?
No, I do not have that bike anymore. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Before we go to Congregation, how do you guys do this? Like, we're good friends with Grant Peterson and Jason Sims, and when you guys find these bikes and Grant's slinging parts and doing, it's just,
it's like a drug, I guess, is what I would say. The best drug that
Yeah.
you can probably ever take. It's a rush, because like I think for me, what it is, there's just so rare that beating somebody else to it is just like the best feeling ever. Just
so it's a treasure hunt.
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Jason's trailer had so many
He
parts and
rolled up
bikes
in
in
a
it.
van and he had a couple.
He had
of the
flatheads in there.
WWLs and
Yeah.
the whatever, the war bikes and
So it's the treasure hunt one. It's hearing that bike running again is like very, very special for me. And 3, just thinking about the history,
right.
like who's been on that bike. They bought this bike in 1952 as soon as they got back from World War II. You know what I mean? Like that's so cool to me, knowing those stories, or just thinking.
It's all that history stuff. So you standing next to that old bike is almost like it's the history we see on the road. You get this energy from it. It's pretty cool.
And I think the cool part of like the parts you're building, just like the rest of say chopper culture, is it's all use case. And granted, the new bikes have that too. Okay, well, this needs an adjustment, that needs an adjustment. But from what I understand about some of the stuff, like you guys are creating whole new mechanisms to put on a bike. It's made by hand, trial and error. You try it, make another version. Some of that's going on with the new bikes, but I think it's a little more custom, a little more soulful with that era of bikes,
Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair to say.
Mm-hmm.
I got to think that there's bikes still strewn around this planet, hidden away in places that
Dude,
Barn
every
finds.
time somebody, like one of my friends finds one, or I find one, or see somebody on Instagram find one, I'm like, they're still out there.
Yeah.
Oh
They're
yeah,
still out
100%.
there.
I
So
mean,
this-
there's some that are like probably perfect
Yeah.
in a garage, covered up, and just have never been touched.
Yeah.
So tell us about the lever action start, because Gavin got a lever action start for his chopper from Prism, from Brisbane, Australia. There's a ton of Australians. Even Big A says it feels like everyone's Australian in here. Lever
Welcome.
action.
We do ship a lot of parts to Australia. A
All right.
lot of parts go to Australia. So thanks.
We do
Australia.
too.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I have good
They're big
queen.
motorcycle people.
Yeah.
So where is the chopper scene right now, in your opinion?
Where is it?
It seems pretty popular.
I think it's
because we were talking about this with last week as well, right? With
Becky.
Becky.
I think it's pretty popular, I guess. I think it's about to get more popular with this new movie coming out tomorrow, Bike Riders movie.
Right.
Buy your shovel.
So wait a
now,
second.
kids.
Yeah.
People have been
You
seeing
heard it
it,
here first.
the premieres and this and that. When is it really
Tomorrow.
in
In theaters tomorrow.
everywhere?
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna open up another
I
tab.
guess
Keep
I have to
talking.
check
Check
it.
me.
What's up?
I
No,
guess I
I
have to
just I
see
was
it. I'm
looking
gonna
for
go
something
see
to do
it.
tomorrow. So, you know,
Bullshit. You got to edit.
when I'm off work, you know.
What's he thinking?
What you think? Do you need another? Or are you good?
But
Load
like
me up. I'm not there yet, but
Brian Bowen,
yeah.
he's the blue bike he's on now.
Yeah.
You know the story about that?
Uh-uh.
So it was what's the actor?
Shout out to Brian. Brian's a good dude.
Stamos.
Yeah.
He wrote it in a movie and he had it in his garage.
Oh, really?
And Brian's like, wow, he was over there shooting. That's cool. He ended up being able to get it from him. And now he's on it. I see him riding it all the time.
Yeah. He rides it.
Pretty cool.
I'm sure he'll get born free this weekend.
Yeah.
No, we did a piece with Jay Leno, and got to go into his garage.
Yeah, I
he
saw
did
that.
not have a lot of choppers,
I saw that.
No.
but he had an insane amount of different kind of bikes. It was
How do you
that
guys
was-
know Jay Leno? How'd that come about?
My son-in-law works, the Property Brothers. The two
Yeah.
brothers that he's the producer on that show.
Oh, no way.
Did a thing with one of Jay's assistants. I hounded him for a couple weeks and come on. He was like hesitant, like, I don't want to bug him. I'm like, bug him, because he can either say yes or no. And then next thing you know, we were there.
Cool.
So
well.
awesome.
We thought we were going to meet him. We went first to the museum, and they took us on a tour, and we thought Jay was going to lead the tour. So I think they were probably vetting us a little bit just to see what we're all about.
100%.
And we were totally into what was going on there. And so at the end of the tour, he's like, so what do you guys want to do? And we threw something out there. He's like, no, I need a 1 page, half a page of what you want to do, timing. So we wrote a memo real quick, introduced ourselves, small crew, 3-man team, need 45 minutes to talk to you. We need 45 minutes for B-roll, and we'll be out of your hair.
No way.
But
And-
he said, be specific.
and we told
Pick
we
something
wanted
in the
to be
museum
around
you
the
want
bra.
to see.
Yeah, don't waste my time.
Yeah.
Basically.
We said around the Broff motorcycles collection. And so next thing you know, he gets a call and he's like, can you be here Monday? We showed up, Jay rolls in, and we were hoping that we would get like more than 45 minutes with Jay. And because we're such incredible personality,
He's so kind and so friendly.
but
So
it
charming.
worked out. We spent 3.5 hours there. I mean,
No
when-
way.
yeah,
And he
I
wasn't
mean-
like trying to push
No.
you out.
No.
Yeah. I
He,
mean,
he
he
rolled
was-
up to the gate when we were there. We're waiting at the gate to get in, and he rolls up an electric bike. He's like, get these Harleys out of here.
But he
But-
could tell that we
Really?
were genuinely interested in everything. So after we did the Bruff thing and we walked around, he showed us some, Indian cars and vintage stuff.
he
The
took
tour
us,
continued.
he
Holy
took
cow.
us on the same tour we were on, but it was way more in depth because of his knowledge. And he's got like 7 or 8 mechanics there. They're restoring stuff all the time.
Full time.
Just for him.
He has a full kitchen area. He gave us ribs. We were eating ribs with him, and it was just such a cool thing to be with him. And then so like when he went to get the B-roll, we were talking, and he took Lance and I and just took us around and showed us his special things. And
It's amazing.
he was such a great guy and so welcoming and giving of his time. He didn't have to do that.
The cool thing about
Knowledgeable.
him with the hundreds of vehicles in that place, all on tenders, all ready to go. He could walk up to the strangest place in the corner of the building, find this bike that's 100 years old and go, so on this one, you got to pump the bubble here and then you got to do this. And he's, you know, he starts,
knows every-
he uses everything. But the weird thing about the whole thing was we did all this stuff that we were talking about. Phone's ringing. We're kind of hanging out and I'm looking at an unknown call. I actually put it down. I'm like, hello? Like, you know how you hello, like you don't give a shit, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, is this Lance? It's Jay Leno. And it was like,
What? That's so cool.
but it was a good time.
So you've
But-
gotten to meet some pretty incredible people through doing My Garage.
I mean, he met us.
He didn't do your
He didn't.
garage. But, you know, you got a couple dumbbells and a minivan. No, I'm kidding, but
Yeah.
you know. So how's that been? Because you've connected with people on a personal level. You've gotten to know about their passions, their machine building, their process. That's got to be a pretty cool experience.
My favorite thing about that series is the friendships that I've built. And I'm sure you guys can relate to this for like doing things like this. You're probably closer. It's kind of an intimate experience, you
Yeah.
know? And so that's how it feels for me when I'm shooting My Garage.
Yep.
I wish I could portray that to the public, but you can't. It's just something that like I own.
Right.
And it's been awesome. It's been an incredible experience, I guess is what I would say.
Are you still making new My Garages?
Yeah, we have. There's 5 releasing this year. The first one's coming out in August, and then every month following that for the rest of the year.
Nice.
Yeah. So we took like a little break because last year we shot 11 of them, and it was a lot.
Now, do you go to their, you
Yeah,
travel all over state to state to find or
people with unique garages and unique stories and interesting people in the motorcycle community and like that are helping like build
Detroit
this
wasn't very
culture.
interesting though.
How sweet is Detroit?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, and there we go.
There's
Rick
Detroit.
says the interview with Randy
There you
Detroit
go.
was cool. Sure was.
Yeah,
The,
like even that things that don't make in the edit, like there was things that he was telling me that I like started getting emotional about. Like it was just this spiritual experience that I had with him that you can't feel through YouTube,
Right.
you know?
Well, that's why we like it when guests come in the studio. 'Cause
That's right. And that's why I was telling you, like, that's why I canceled the first time. Cause I was like, hey, I was supposed to be in LA, but I can't make it to LA. Can we postpone the next time in LA and we'll do it? And so that's why we had to push this one back.
Well, we've had, like Fast Eddie was on here.
Yeah.
And if you haven't watched that, people should go out and check that one out. And similarly, we met him a couple of years ago through the Harley shoots. And when we were up at Jokin's place, we had a conversation and he trusted us with his story. And his story had not been told publicly. His family only knew it. And for him to come out and tell us what the challenges he went through as a young man on our channel, it raises hair on the back of your neck. It gives you goosebumps and it brings you to tears because he struggled with some things that were pretty radical. And for us to have a platform for him to be able to share that. And if one person listening changed their demeanor because they listened to him, then our job is done. Right. And
Same with Ray Ripple.
We've got so many stories like that.
I shot Ray last week.
Yeah.
So she's going to be in my garage.
Really?
So, yeah.
Awesome.
I mean,
at our new place.
Yes. At her new place.
Nice.
So like we'll be the first people to show her new place off.
that's awesome.
Dig it.
Because she did the bike build last year at Born
Yep,
Free,
that's
and we
right.
got her on just before that. And that interview is probably 2 hours long, but we asked her what she's
watched
most
that
proud
one.
of. And when she got into the whole knock on the door thing, it just changed everything.
Yeah.
And similarly, if her story hits one young woman or one man that makes them change their focus and direction and helps them, our job's done.
Well, we're supposed to have a guest on that we've been working with. We met him in the airport. Totally cool guy. You've had him on My Garage, and he has been in conversation with us. And we keep trying to schedule it, but he's going to come in here and do a live with us. James Root.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my
That was a
buddy.
cool one because once you got into the guitars, it was like screw the garage. Oh well, this one I like, and you know, yeah, it's all.
But even that, like, there was 3 of us that went out for that shoot, and he was like, "Hey, come hang at my house. Hey, let's go to dinner. Hey, let's do this." It was just like he just wanted to hang, and he was so humble and so kind and so sweet. But like again, that's my favorite thing about shooting my garage is the relationships that happen off camera.
Right.
That's great. He was at the airport. We were at the airport coming back from a photo shoot or
Yeah.
somewhere
in
we were.
Milwaukee or
Our
something.
wives
I
were
don't
with us.
remember.
And you just
He's
happen to see
standing,
him.
but he's looking at us, and then he's walking around the corner. He's looking at us, and and I'm like going,
Who
"Why
is
is
this
guy
guy?
checking us out here? You know what's going on?" And
You
I'm
know how
walking
tall he
closer,
is and how like
He's tall.
but
Yeah.
I'm like, did I do something? Did we, you know? And then he's
This
like,
guy's coming after me.
we got close enough, and then he's like, "Hey, you guys are 2LaneLIVE." And we started rapping, and
I bought parts from Thrashing for all my
Yeah,
bikes and blah blah blah.
because he got some stuff from Lance, and it's like that we hit it off, and we've been on the phone with him. We just got to get him in here. Wasn't he
Right.
in town rehearsing?
He
and-
just goes, "We'll get him."
Yeah, you'll get him.
Yeah.
You'll get him.
He
Good
wants,
guy, though.
He wants to do it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I mean, it's 5 years ago, I was a banker, and 4 years, but I still rode motorcycles. And 4 years and 6 months into this 2LaneLIVE life, we've met so many people like you that are just, we're friends now, and it's incredible. And it's only because of this motorcycle that we ride.
Do you guys
And-
remember the first time we met?
Well, it was so long ago because it was probably 30 years ago.
No, him.
Oh,
No, when we met. Like
When we met.
oh, when we met, I'm thinking him. When
Wasn't
we
it
met?
in Milwaukee. Yeah.
it was for the I can't remember what
We
it's called,
did
but
the-
like in January when they
Oh,
Harley
the
releases
big-
all the
We
new
did
products.
the release, and you did the Pan America
Yes.
with Brad.
That's correct.
That's where we met. Is
Yeah.
that the exact?
And then that night we went to the bar together.
That's right.
Yeah.
Curpius.
Yep.
But I
That's
think
right.
I knew of you before.
We did know of him.
Yeah, because Lance bought some stuff from Prism back when he had a chopper. And,
But that was an insane shoot too.
yeah,
I mean, you
That was
you
insane.
didn't even like, you're doing the Pan America, and you're like, I gotta, because you hadn't had one at that point.
I didn't have a Pan America at that point, yeah. But I always liked those bikes.
Right.
Like I was always passionate about them.
But we knew the bikes that we were doing. We're like, oh, we got this.
Yeah.
You're screwed
Nah.
because you did that with Brad too.
Yeah, but it wasn't just Pan America. It was parts and
Clothing,
it was
too,
parts and
and-
accessories is
Yeah,
what
that's
my focus was, which was easy-ish for me because that's what I do. Like
Right,
that is my
right.
business.
But that was insane. The way they had that thing set up and the anniversary bikes in there. I mean, just the lighting and
Yeah,
wow,
for sure.
that was definitely a makeup wearing day.
that was
It
a
was.
makeup day.
it was.
So you talked a little bit about my garage. We kind of skipped over. Let's go back to Congregation.
Yeah, so I run an event in Charlotte, North Carolina called
Did I say it right?
the Congregation Show.
The Congregation.
Yep. So it is a motorcycle and car show, and it happens in this incredible building. It's a historic building, but it was a Ford manufacturing plant in the 20s. So it was built 1919 or something.
The 19s.
Yeah, the 19s, the early 19s.
You said Ford.
Yep, it was Ford. So they
Ford.
manufactured Model A's, Model T's there.
Look at that.
And the floors are actually not quite 2x4s. They're a little bigger than a 2x4, but cut on end, and they're like thick, like deep. So imagine like one stick of a 2x4 and you chop it.
And
Yep, exactly like tile.
wow.
Yeah, and so that's
don't
happening.
understand that. That's so insane why they would do it that way.
That's what it looks like.
Solid base. Maybe they needed the wood for something during the
The wood's a
manufacturing.
little softer, so I don't
Wait,
know.
and it's soaked
Maybe
in
they wanted that.
creosote. Is that right?
Yeah, creosote.
Yeah, it was soaked in creosote.
Like
so that,
telephone poles are
Creosote.
soaked in creosote. Yeah.
so it wasn't. It was flame retardant. So maybe that's why it was wood and then soaked.
Mm.
So and it couldn't spark or something.
Maybe that's it.
But I mean, I know I'm biased because it's my event, but the venue doesn't get any better.
you should be biased. It should be
Like
the best
event-
event in the world, right?
The venue is absolutely incredible. And it's actually 100 feet away from my shop.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not bad.
So I had my first congregation show there before I had the shop there.
Wow.
No
Yeah.
way.
So is it an empty building until you do your events?
Yes.
Wow.
Or do they do events there?
They're starting to do other events there. But
you
it
were
was just
kind of the
ours for
first.
a few years. Yeah. I think they realized it's so precious.
Yeah.
building.
And so that's a separate, so that's once a year show.
Once a year in October. This year it's October 5th.
Okay.
Saturday, October 5th.
And where is that located?
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Hmm.
You guys got to come.
The
for that.
NASCAR
City.
NASCAR City.
Race City, USA is what they call it.
Race City, USA.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm a NASCAR nerd.
Both my brothers worked for Joe Gibbs.
No way.
My younger brother.
JGR.
Yeah, my younger brother still does.
Really?
Yeah.
Fabricate?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, he does paint and body type stuff. Yeah, but my older brother's a fabricator there.
So there's 3 of you.
Yep, and so I'm in the middle. So
We may have to go out there. We were in Robbinsville,
yeah, we can give you a tour
North
of some
Carolina.
NASCAR shops for sure.
He wouldn't like it.
Video
No,
idea.
I think it's cool. You know,
Huh?
check it out.
I was telling
Said-
Lance and Juan about it earlier because we were at Thrashing this morning.
Yeah.
And Juan was super interested
He's-
in it. And I was just like, it's basically like a doctor's office. If you can think of a doctor's office with race cars in there, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Everything's so clean. The floor's white.
Right.
I mean, I've seen behind the scenes on the shops there, and it's just insane to me. Because I used to wrench with my dad on engines, so it kind of just resonates. But to
It's
see a
impressive.
shop like that with that pristine, and his shop is Lance's is pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it's definitely cool. But
He's-
like we've been in some dirt bike shops back in the day when he rode where
Yeah.
It's
the
same
guys
way.
like the
Yeah,
Coster and those guys in the hospital, you know. Yeah.
that's right. But Thrashing's doing awesome, man. I was
Yeah.
stoked to see them today. You have to be proud of your
Very,
son there.
very proud. Love the showroom, love the building, love the place, all the employees. I like seeing young entrepreneurs, young workers, young people that are all motivated. And he's got a crew of people that are motivated. So for me to see that, it's like there's hope.
That's right.
You know, you're young.
Yeah.
So I like
yeah,
to
and
see it.
I got a good crew too. I'm
Josh
super
is young.
Thankful for that.
Work ethic.
Young
we love
enough.
it.
Josh, how old are you?
27.
Nice. You are young.
Mm-hmm.
We plucked him right out of college.
Yeah, how old are you?
Fresh pickings.
35.
Okay, so you're a little bit older than Lance.
What's he? 33?
34.
Something like that. Yeah.
Born in 1990, so 34.
Yeah, I was 89.
You don't know how old your son is?
Just yeah,
You just figured it
born
out.
in 1990.
It's still tricky.
If you're listening, Lance Jr., we need a little bit more margin.
I don't think Lance is listening. He's too
He's
busy.
busy.
He
He's
doesn't even
working.
watch YouTube.
Oh, he
So-
just hustling.
He
Yeah.
listens to it. Trust me.
He doesn't watch YouTube. He just puts content out. on
right,
YouTube.
right.
I mean, we're content farmers, you know.
I mean, I've
That's
said,
what
hey,
you do.
Do you
did
know
you
that?
see our latest video, Lance? Did you see our latest video? I don't even watch mine, Dad.
We're content farmers.
Explain.
You
We farm.
you
the
lay the
content.
seeds.
We
You know,
plant the seeds.
You
Oh, I
plant the
see.
You don't
seeds.
lay
you-
the seeds.
you- it's- leave
Every
me
time
alone,
the
leave me
camera's out,
alone.
we're farming again.
And then you get your harvest. Like we go out throughout the year and we harvest and we come back and might sit on the hard drive for a bit and then you feed the people.
That's right.
That's what we do.
I like that.
We're not YouTubers. We're content
We're
farmers.
farmers. I like it. I like
We're
it
bringing
better.
farming back to America.
You guys have a pretty cool chopper out front too.
It's got kind of a thumbs up from Jake. Kind of, was it a half up thumb?
For what?
It was more than a half up,
Okay.
but it wasn't a full thumbs up.
Right.
That's what I would say. The
I mean,
chopper.
good
Oh.
thing you don't have a business around here because we would probably wheel it over to you and say, make this cool.
Get this thing around.
Do they make conversion kits for iron heads so you can have a right foot brake and a left side shift?
No,
You're just
you just get used to it. It's
All right.
history. Got to write it as it is.
good man. I appreciate
I don't
that.
know. This is random. Do you ever hear of a guy, his handle's Rooster? He's big in the chopper scene out
Mhm.
here, friends with
Yeah, yeah.
these guys. He came into the live with us and he brought us a bunch of cigars. So we actually sat in here and all smoked cigars in this room and talked choppers and riding and all that kind of stuff. Pretty cool.
It's fun.
But I think it's kind of a pain in the ass for him to wheel the chopper back. But if we've got a back tire and filled it with
Yeah.
air, it might be
Be
a little
easy.
easier. we were originally intending on
That's
just
true.
putting it in the showroom as a display, but we don't have a ton of room. But we also,
Yeah,
just
that
like you're
would be cool in
saying
there.
on the treasure hunt, you know, when it rolled up here, I'm just kind of going, can we get this started? Like, what does it sound like?
Yeah.
And we got our buddy Dom over here and we got working on it. And it didn't really need that much. We took some carb cleaner, took the carb off, cleaned it, made sure the jets were okay.
Did we change oil?
We,
we
added,
added
we
it,
threw
but
in
it
some
was
random
dry.
oil because it hadn't run for 5 years, and like the headers weren't even on. Everything was just hanging off.
I
And
think that was
Dom-
Paul.
could be the U-Haul trailer.
Thanks, Paul, for hauling that back over here. But
Yep.
but yeah, I mean, but you just sit there and kind of wonder what it sounds like, who wrote it, and we're trying to get the history from the lady that gave it to us, from the family that gave it to us, but put a new gas line on, clean the plugs because we couldn't find any at our local auto parts store. We had to order those. Put her back together, and I think the fourth little kick she fired up, and it's like, wow,
Amazing.
we got to ride it.
Yeah.
Got to ride it.
Got to.
And then we're like, oh wait, it doesn't shift the same. Like, where the hell is?
You kept hitting
And
the
then it's
brake.
got these little weird forwards, so you have to hover your foot over the shifter, and then
Choppers.
go back to the front. I mean, it's.
I like
tricky.
one with a little less rake, like the one Dom rides.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the farther
But
out the wheel
that's
is.
a fun ride though. This thing actually, I with that rake and the Springer, and there's no shocks in the back, it's rigid, right?
Yep.
But it moves with the road, so it wasn't like you're hitting hard. Or
Yeah, I always think
it
the
was
neck,
like,
the neck is going to snap off with the long rake. You know?
Hey Lance, what are you wearing there?
What?
What are you wearing
What
there?
shirt do you have on?
The new
Can you move your
2-Lane
Piper
Live.
Pawnee?
I mean, it wasn't planned, but I did worn one of those as well. So guess what, people? Buy some shirts. They're
Go to the
live on
store
the
now.
website. Hit the link. That way we can keep making cool videos and whatnot.
For real, this is a very unplanned mention, but who's ever watching this, go support these guys. For real, go buy a t-shirt. Every little sale helps us to continue doing what we're doing. So go support these guys. Donate. There's a way to donate, right? Buy a shirt,
by
buy
buying a
hat,
shirt. Yeah.
They buy
Yeah.
beer.
buy beer.
Here and there, we'll get
Beer
lucky
money.
and we'll
Give us
get
some
some
beer
beer
money.
money on the stream right here.
You guys also
So
have
we'll see.
parts.
Yeah,
Go
we
to,
do
go to
have
these
parts.
guys first for purchasing parts. You can get Prism Supply, Clockworks,
All the good stuff.
all the good stuff.
Thank you, Jake.
Well, the cool thing is we have a really good group of followers that we like. We just want their friends to start liking us. Yeah.
And
That's
if you ride choppers, just hit the link right here, and you might be able to find something.
And thank you, Stone, for your delicious IPA.
Do you have shirts at your shop? Yes, we do. We have a lot more than shirts. We got lighting, we got suspension, we got bars, risers, levers, engine covers, air cleaners if you're not in California, and a couple other things.
That's a
So-
radio voice there.
Yep,
Right?
that's what we do.
And we also have a new shirt that will be dropping.
Once secret shirt.
Once
Secret
we're
shirt.
back from Bodie,
It's
Once
a
we're
boat.
back
It's going to
from
happen
Bodie,
from
pictures
Bodie.
2
so
weeks from now.
It's a special shirt.
And it's cool that we had a guy that actually sends us the beer. He follows us and loves the channel.
Cheers, by the way.
Cheers. And
Boom.
he hand drew.
Andrew.
Is that Andrew?
Andrew.
He drew by hand a shirt scene for us. So we went ahead and printed it on the back of a shirt and put 2LaneLIVE on the front. And I think it's pretty cool that someone gives their artistry to us and we go ahead and put that on. It's going to be I think it's going to sell.
Because our shirts usually go through a process, but this one was like kind of a no-brainer of like,
Right.
let's just do it. But we're going to Bodie Ghost Town in the next week or so. We're going to do some great stuff there and share it with you. But this shirt is going to be launched then, so pay attention.
So you're out here in California. What's happening the next couple days for you?
Born Free Show.
Yeah.
So Born Free Show is what got me out here. I came in on Tuesday night, and yesterday kind of just made the rounds, and same with this morning. That's why I ended up going to thrashing. And now here, tomorrow is setup day for us, and then we'll be at the event all day Saturday and all day Sunday. We have a booth.
Oh, you'll have a booth.
Yeah, my team will be
Okay.
there. I think there's going to be 7 of us out here.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're going to go check your booth out.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I texted you and I was like, hey, what are your shirt sizes? Because I wanted to get you guys all shirts, and then I forgot to bring them. So come by the booth, and then I'm going to give you guys a
Sweet.
shirt.
Right.
Awesome.
And we'll give you one before you leave.
Please,
We
thank
got to
you.
give them a pair of gloves.
That too.
You know.
Yeah. Get some riding gear.
And what's happening at Born Free? Your brother has a build as well.
Yeah. So Harley does this like Born Free Invited Builder series. There's like the Born Free Invited Builder series, and there's a Harley Davidson Invited Builder series. And so the difference is the regular Born Free guys, pretty much they're building vintage antique Harley Davidsons. Not always the case, but for the most part. And then the Harley Davidson series is, I think they select 5 builders, and they build and design a bike around a new platform. So my brother, he built a 2024 Lowrider ST.
Oh,
Yeah, and it's sweet.
you're gonna have to show us pictures.
I can't wait to
before we
see
get
it
there.
for sure.
It's a combo of like carbon fiber performance type Lowrider ST stuff.
Did you see Lance's last year?
Yeah, exactly.
We were there today.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite bikes.
I love that bike.
I mean, it's not like you wouldn't want to take it riding around everywhere, but I like looking at it. It's like,
Yeah, and then when we did the Bell Ride thing in Milwaukee, Lance and I did that together, and he rode that bike.
yeah. I mean, it's a great
Pretty-
rider. I'm
pretty
just saying for
insane.
me, for,
Yeah.
you know, traveling, like
Was
to be
it-
on a
That's
big
right.
bag.
Detroit that did a jockey shift bagger.
Yeah.
That's pretty badass.
So Detroit has one. I can't remember all
for
the
this
builders.
year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So Oliver Jones, he's building a Pan Am. Josh Allison, it's breakout edition. My brother Zach Hindes, shout out. His Instagram is @Hindes Design.
Go. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
At Heinz
Yeah,
Design.
you can see the bike. So it's 3. Detroit Randy. Just one more. Did I say Rusty
So
Butcher?
we get to see Detroit.
Rusty Butcher has a bike.
Yeah, Rusty does.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to see Detroit. He'll be there.
He will be there. Did you see it on his page
Let's-
there?
Yeah, I'm posting the link for them. Let's see here.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Oof, and the lowers too.
Yeah, and he made all that. That's all handmade aluminum.
Something
Nice,
about
yeah.
ST with lowers is just
Yeah.
chef's
Right.
kiss.
Well, it's nice when you're a fabricator, and
Mhm.
I bet you and Juan have a lot to talk about with the engineering.
That's
stuff.
right. Yeah. Yeah, we do. I went to lunch with Juan today. It was great.
We love when we go over there and like we get our parts put on, we'll go hang out and film it. And Juan and Cole and those guys will be there helping. And Juan is so meticulous, and the way he builds and puts even a bolt in your bike. And, you know, I like how he,
Are you a 3D printer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a post go viral talking about our 3D printer.
What was it?
We just got this new 3D printer, and we printed it was just a silly thing, but one of the guys at the shop really likes pizza, and so we made a pizza holder. And
I saw it. I know exactly, but yes.
and put it on, and we actually put it on my bike, but that's the joke. And yeah, it kind
It
of
took
blew up.
off.
Yeah.
Now, do you have to put the pizza in with a fold so all the stuff stays in, or you just put it a slice in like a piece
We
of
just
paper?
put it sliced in, but it wasn't a warm slice, so that's why the pepperonis and the
Little
cheese stayed on
rigid.
it.
There you
Yeah.
I like it. See,
Sweet.
having fun when you're doing your thing.
That's right. That's right. We try to have it.
But
Good
I mean,
time.
if it goes viral, maybe, Prism needs to kind of think about building a pizza holder.
Yeah, comment if you want a pizza holder.
Cool. Comment
Well, I
if
would
you want
think
a
that it
pizza
would be
holder.
just a great thing that people buy just for a joke for their friend. Here's your pizza holder for your birthday.
Kind of like a hat holster.
Right.
Let's see if
Go
I
buy
can
Hat holster.
share this on there.
There you go. It's
Back
a little out
up
of
a little
focus.
bit.
There you go.
Yeah, I saw that.
Come on.
That's Patrick.
That's
He
great.
loves pizza. But I think it has like
Jockey
6.5 million views,
Nice.
which is just like anything we've ever tried to
Right,
create
right.
like good quality content has not ever performed that well.
Right.
But that's how it works. We didn't go out and say we're going to produce this hat holder video and make this thing happen. We just did a quick thing and
Yeah, we
threw it up
filmed
there.
it on the phone. It got 10 I don't know, a lot of millions of views. And then now every couple minutes, you're just getting ding, ding, ding. You know, the hat holster
They're
just,
still looking at it.
Yeah, it's crazy how that happens.
yeah.
Well,
You
they're
just
still
never know.
buying it,
Right.
You just never know.
which is great.
Yeah. So what do you guys have planned for the rest of the year? This weekend you'll be at Born Free.
We're going to be at Born Free. Next weekend, we're going to go do a 3-4 day journey,
Probably
maybe
3 days.
to Bodie Ghost Town, which is up in Northern California, just above Bishop. Really great old mining town that people up and left, and the whole town is still there. Silverware plates are still on the table, but it's a real ghost town. So that's a trip. And then we're going
But
to
we'll also, it looks like Tioga Pass is
Mhm.
a place they just cut through all the snow,
through Yosemite.
and that drops you into Yosemite. So we're hoping to film, and we've done it with our wives, and it's just massive snowbank. So hopefully we capture that, drop into Yosemite, and then go into a little town called Oakhurst, which is a cool spot. It's kind of north central California.
But our biggest trip is going to be the end July 20th. We leave for Milwaukee.
Yeah.
We're stopping
wait.
at 5 dealerships. We're going to hang out with you in Milwaukee, do our
Yeah. Let's tell everybody what's our thing that we're doing together in Milwaukee.
Yeah, so on Saturday at Veterans Park, we'll be doing a YouTube meet and greet. Matt calls it the Super Bowl of YouTube people.
I kind of
in the motorcycle world. At
Are
least.
we going to
right.
miss being at the museum, or is it going to be great out at
I
Veterans
mean,
Park?
I don't think it's
It's gonna be great at Veterans
Yeah,
Park.
it'll be. We were out there last year.
Oh, I love being out there, but
Yeah.
the museum is so. But I think it'll
We're
be
still gonna. I mean, we've got 4 days there, or
Yeah.
5 days. So,
Yeah.
but it's kind of cool because we've all individually done things, with Harley, but to have everyone together in the public anyway.
Well, how did they put
um,
us together, the 4 of us in a picture?
Because they're good at meshing people.
Yeah.
And they know
I
that
think
we
they
vibe well
took the
together.
best
Yeah.
looking people. Sorry, Adam,
No offense,
Tiffany. No offense, John. No
psychophatics.
offense, John. GQ. Sorry.
You got a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think, I mean, it's the first time for them doing something like this. I mean, homecoming last year was great. I mean, the 120th, there was so much energy around there.
Yeah.
And then to
Agreed.
do this again, I think we're churning and burning, but it's going to be fun especially when we get there. And I can't wait to do the different dealership stops. That's going to be a fun time for us as well.
What are you doing though? Once you're in Milwaukee, you heading to Sturgis, or you?
Yeah. So my plan is right now is to ride from Charlotte to Milwaukee. Same thing that you guys are doing, and then maybe team up with you guys and ride from Milwaukee to Sturgis.
There's a plan already starting.
There you
So
go.
yeah, we're going to leave Tuesday or
So we're leaving Tuesday,
from Milwaukee,
which is,
Perfect.
and then we're going to ride.
because I
to
think
Sturgis
everything
and-
shuts down
yeah.
like Sunday, right? We're spending 1 day. So if we can edit at the hotel, and then it's only 900 miles. So
Wait, put the camera on yourself. Give us that. Yeah.
yeah, I can't wait.
Are you? What was it? A couple days from there to Sturgis from Milwaukee? Or how?
3.
3 days.
3 days.
What
Yeah.
bike are you riding?
Pan America.
Nice.
Oh, you'll be.
I think I haven't fully decided yet.
So
I've got an assortment of bikes to choose from. So
we're leaving the 30th from Milwaukee to go. You're
And we
welcome. You're welcome to join us.
And we always have our little
Thank you.
place. We like to stay in Deadwood. So
Yep, that's where I always stay too. What was I gonna say? Oh, homecoming. That I go to a bunch of events. Like that's just my job is to be at these events. And homecoming last year for me was the best event that I went to.
Wasn't it great?
Every year. Yeah.
same for us.
Other than the congregation show.
Yes.
Wink, wink.
At the
Yeah, that was real.
congregation.com.
For real, it was
Right.
It was a great event. I loved every minute of it. Like the vibe just felt right. Felt like very family.
So how far are you from Letitia? Cave City?
6 hours ish.
I mean, it'd be really fun to go to Kentucky again, go to
Maybe-
the dive bar, and then go to his event.
Yeah, do that in October.
Couple
Let's make
of
a
steak
plan.
dinners.
Make a plan.
Not this year.
Too much.
No,
We got too
my
much.
my son's getting married, and I'm going to Kauai. So
Oh, well, when?
24th.
Of
October.
So it sounds like you have a few weeks to get home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll be fine. You'll make it.
When's the event again?
October 5th.
October
October
5th.
5th and 6th.
Oh, we could.
Yeah,
film
I
it.
just got to be back
You
on
got
the
way
13th.
plenty of
And
time.
we got plenty of time.
Yeah.
Talk to your wife about it. Talk to the
Uh,
boss tonight. See what she says.
We could EagleRider it.
That's- what we
Yeah,
got.
fly in.
Yeah.
EagleRider.
Or we could get over there and Mike Wolf can have some bikes waiting for us. We could ride some old choppers into his event.
That'd be cool. Yeah, get Mike to come.
Letitia, if you're listening.
Speaking of bikes
Come on, let's
and riding bikes, what bikes do you guys have?
New platform, 2024.
a new platform guy.
Yeah, I think it is. I have a Road Glide, the burnt whiskey fire. Love it.
2024. Yeah. I mean, we don't own cars. Our wives have a car. So we
We're-
do kind of own a car.
We're
but-
bikers. We're real bikers.
and we don't have a big stable.
I don't know if it's
bikers
fair to
feel.
say though, like because that's the way around in California. You can do that easily.
Yes.
You'd be more of a biker if you weren't in California and you didn't have a car.
Well, we'll show you several videos of us riding in blizzards and snow. And
Okay, fair.
the ice, 14
guys are-
degrees. 14
You guys ride way more than me.
We got a couple of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is harder in other states. We had a guy meet us at the homecoming last year. Came up to us several times with his wife and kids, and he was so excited, and they were behind him going. But he goes, I have 10,000 miles. He's from Michigan, on my couch watching your guys' videos during the winter. We're like, we love you.
Amazing.
But we don't shy away from riding. Like we took him out last year, the loneliest highway on the 50. And
Yep.
I don't think I realized the
January.
elevation
In the dead of
we were gonna be
winter.
at. Snow, it was 14 degrees below, and we're doing 70, 80 miles an hour.
After wind chill.
Yeah.
I don't.
It was 14, not
I
below.
said 14, and then it was when we were riding, so it was 14. It
Yeah.
had to be at least 14 below or more.
It was pretty cold.
Yeah.
And
after-
we
70,
were
80
riding
miles.
into the night. There wasn't snow, and then we started seeing some gleaming light on the side of the road. That's kind of weird. My fingers are also maybe going to fall off. And then we start seeing trucks come by on the side of the road just covered in snow. So that was one of many. But
Yeah, and we saw a big rig piled into the snow. But we got to the place where we're staying, and he was freezing his ass off, and he was over here just.
she's
and I
asking
took
me for my wallet. My hands were just dead. I couldn't even reach my
So I
my
took
pocket.
my jumpsuit off, Dickies, and I threw it on top of him. I'm like, "Give me your wallet, man." But that was the second time we ruined him. The first time was when he was brand new with us, and we took him over Kit Carson Pass, and we didn't expect any weather.
No one told me you needed rain gear.
and he's on a Yamaha with no fare.
Well, you had
Yeah.
no storage for that.
I could keep a wallet in that trunk.
What was his trunk about this big in
Yeah.
the back
Yeah.
of the bike?
It was so all of a sudden a storm hits us, and it's sleet and slush and snow, and it wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah.
My legs were banging the tank so hard from shivering that I thought I was just going to take us. He had to pull his hand off of the grip.
Yeah, it like
was
seized to the. It was, I mean, soaked head to toe and probably high 20s. And then, but it was one of those things where we were 2 hours away from any sort of cover. We were 2 hours back to where we came from, and it was going to rain and snow for the next couple hours. So you're screwed.
That's an evil laugh.
We didn't have comms that worked at the time for the three of us. So I'm sitting there like, are they in this much pain too? Like I couldn't breathe. I was hyperventilating. I started like blacking out visually. But I loved it. It's all good.
We pulled over at the kind of the crest, and I'm like, I tried to start a fire, and I just couldn't find anything dry enough to start a fire with. And then we're like, screw it, let's just try to find the next gas station, and we'll figure it out. But that was still another 40 or 50 minutes.
But weather on the road, I mean, we've been in Needles, California at 118 degrees with Luke from fueling and the thrashing guys, and we're all in the walk-in cooler trying to get cool.
Crazy.
Then the next day we're in Littleton, Colorado in the snow. And this is in August going to Sturgis,
It's like, how do you pack for that? It's kind of impossible.
We just kind
Rain
of
gear.
Yeah.
I mean, for that, I mean, for the Kit Carson pass, I only had my top rain gear. He brought his bottoms for some reason. And we'd looked at the forecast and there no weather. And I mean, my legs were soaked. He was just fine. He's dry. This one's blacking out and I'm freezing
Good
my ass
times.
off. But
That's what it's about.
But that's
Yep.
the journey, right?
That's right.
That's what we do.
Well, when I
And-
was river guide, we used to always say the person that had a great ride and paddle and went down the rapid didn't have the story or the same story as the person that fell out and you had to get back in the boat. That person had the story. So Josh had some stories going.
I did.
That's right. So that's what it's about.
Well, we're hour and 10, so we appreciate you taking the time for us and enjoy having you here in our home. And it's going to be a fun Born Free too. I can't wait to see the build. And
Can't wait. Yeah.
Anything else you want to close with? Anything you want to say?
Oh man.
where do
So
they
much-
find
there's so
Prism
much to say.
Supply?
Are you guys? Do you guys always? Is it always about this length? Or
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
We can go longer if you're whatever you want to
It's-
do.
It's up to you.
We got time.
I'm easy peasy.
What did you drive here today?
Rental truck.
A truck.
Yeah.
How
You
did you
need
get
a
a
truck.
truck?
How did I get a truck?
Yeah.
Man, I wasn't happy about it. What? So I go to the airport and I reserved through Avis. Come on, Avis. Hopefully they're not a sponsor of you guys.
No.
They are.
Sweet, good. I reserved through Avis. I always do it in the app, and then I can just like show up and get in the car and leave. Like I don't even have to check in.
Right.
And so I pull up the app when I land, and it's like, "Hey, you need to go see somebody. They need to verify you or something." I was like, "Okay, whatever." And so I get there, and they're like, "Oh, we don't have your car ready." And so I'm like, "Okay, well, give me a car that's ready." And they're like, "You can pay more for that." And I was like, "All right."
I'm here.
I'm just-
I want to go.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. I booked this an hour ago, and eventually they upgraded me to a truck. So that's how I got a truck.
Uh-huh.
It's not a bad truck, Nissan Frontier or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you didn't ride up on a chopper.
I didn't, unfortunately. No, it's hard for me to get a chopper here.
So are you staying in Anaheim?
I was staying in Huntington Beach.
Okay.
And then, yeah, staying in Tustin the rest of the trip.
Yeah, get over closer a little bit.
Yeah. But I'm excited for Born Free. It's always good to see friends there.
And it's going to be the hottest day of the week.
of course.
And how well do you know Grant?
I love Grant. Grant's been to congregation before. Zach and I have built 3. This is his 4th time building, but we built 3 motorcycles for Born Free show. Born Free 5, we built one. Born Free 6, we built one. No, not Born Free 5. I don't remember what years it was. 8, 9, 10, something like that.
Right.
I've been going since 5.
So
Wow.
I moved out here 35 years ago, something like that, from Salt Lake. And our neighborhood was Sugar House, and I lived on 18th East. And my dad was just gifted at everything he did, whether it's mechanical or woodworking. His father was too. And so we had a cabinet shop back in our garage behind the house. And so Grant's father, Scott, and another neighborhood guy, Jeff Perry, would come over and work in the evenings with my dad. And I was in the garage, and they were a bit older than I, but I watched them very closely and kind of gave me kind of the work ethic and different things that I think from them I would see when their girlfriends would come by and drop off pies and different things. Right. So I move out here. We start the channel 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, 7 years. My mom calls me and said, "Do you know anything about Born Free?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, Grant Peterson runs that." I'm like, "What? Get his phone number for me." So we talked to him, and ever since she did that, we've gone every year, and I get to see his father every year, and it's kind of our little reunion.
That's
so
awesome.
it's so, I mean, what a small world, right?
Yeah.
Like to have his father working, and we used to admire him because he had a 2-stroke 465 Yamaha that he would just wheelie for years. And we were all intense. And I saw Grant when he was a baby being raised. I mean, it just, this whole full circle thing is pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
And what they've built is just
amazing.
impressive.
They have 2 now, right?
Texas.
Yeah.
That's right.
They started that 2 years ago.
Jace is here, right?
He said he was coming in, I think.
You know Jace?
Yeah.
Oh, he's here, like here?
Not here, but he's in California going
Gotcha.
to Born Free, I think. From what I
But I think he was checking to see if we were available next week,
Oh yeah.
but we're going to be gone.
Well, yeah.
But anyway, so every year now I seek out his dad, and we give a big hug, and because my dad was pretty influential with him, and even Grant remembers so it's kind of a cool thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So he puts his dad to work.
Huh?
Grant puts his dad to work out here at Born Free.
probably.
Kind of. I mean,
My dad
I
works
think he walks
Congregation Trail
around
for me.
Yeah.
Does he?
Yeah, he wants to though.
Yeah.
He wants to. I think he does.
Does your dad ride?
Tell me if you don't. Yeah, he used to. He doesn't anymore. Yeah. Him and my mom got in a really bad accident. So
On the motorcycle?
yeah, together.
What happened? Someone
They
hit
got
them?
They got rear-ended. Yeah,
Got rear-ended.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
out of their control type thing.
That's-
Yeah, and so my dad like didn't want me to get a motorcycle like when I was 18 years old.
right.
And once he was basically like, you are not getting one. And then once I got one, he loved it. He still loves it. He loves what we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Well, the passion you have as a writer, it just
Can't get
whatever
rid of it.
happens, it just
Yeah,
some
I
of
mean,
the fondest memories are like with no helmet riding my Yamaha on dirt roads,
100%.
just
I mean,
flying.
when I was a kid, we had a couple of dirt bikes, and I remember like my mom's rule. My dad was working, but I remember my mom's rule was you have to do your homework and then you can go outside and ride. And that was like the best moment for me. Like homework's done,
Right.
now I'm going outside to like
Right.
experience freedom. And it was
Right.
like the first time I've experienced that on the road freedom, out in the woods, just doing whatever as a boy.
That's
Like,
awesome.
Right.
Got Becky tuning in.
what's up, Becky? I can't believe I have to follow up after Becky.
Right.
That's not cool.
She
And
kicked
also,
ass.
how is she not setting up at Born Free right now?
She's probably
Right.
done.
Maybe she's done. And
She
then she's
had
got
to-
it. But then she also has an event tonight with Rolling Sands. There's so much going on, Becky.
She left
busy.
here, our studio, when it was over and got on the 405 and her bike died. She had to push her bike.
Oh, that was on
across
the way.
Yeah,
I saw that.
But we had just talked about that was her most reliable bike.
right.
And then to have her push it across the 5 lanes of traffic.
Becky did such a great job. She's
Yeah.
so good at this stuff.
She said, did that already.
Yeah.
Set up, done.
I think she's got the tent, not the bikes, but she's got a tent set up and pretty
Becky's
cool.
Hideaway.
Yeah, Becky's Hideaway. We're gonna check it out.
Axel's hideout.
Axel's high.
Axel's
Axel's.
Hideout.
Yeah, that's a really cool thing. I don't know if you guys saw it last year, but I think it was like first year of her trying that, and it went over so well. So I'm stoked to see it again this year. I'm sure it's only going to get better.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about it with her and other female writers. I mean, part of the platform here is to just showcase people, right, and let them tell their stories. And we just think sometimes we don't get political much at all here, but we do think that sometimes the female writers just don't always get the proper props because they're badass and they can do things, and the things that our male guys say to them at gas stations, and it's just
Not only that, but to add to that, like Becky, somebody that's building a brand in a
Right.
male-dominated world. Like,
right,
it's pretty impressive.
pretty impressive.
Yeah,
Well, she wants it. She goes for it.
that's right.
And she's like in her story, she fights for it.
We had Jessica Haggett who
Yeah.
started the Litas.
Yep.
You know, and there's 25,000 plus women now, or 28,000. Someone corrected us the other day, that are, you know, collective together, riding miles and having events for themselves and enjoying that. And that would not have started for it not have been for Jessica trying to find a person or people to ride with. So pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. What's been y'all's favorite motorcycle you've owned
Oof.
Well,
ever?
right now, I would have to say my brand new Harley Davidson in 2024. I mean, when I saw them, I loved them. When I rode them, I really liked them. I've had some great road glides. I've had street glides. I've had a Road King. always Harley. I haven't had anything else. So this bike I have now is awesome. And now that I have all the parts and stuff that I like on it, it's like, I mean, I was thinking riding into work this morning, even though I don't go that far, going around the reservoir, just whipping around in the wind. And I had my helmet up. I'm like, I'm having fun. And then I went to the eye doctor this morning, and I was on the freeway going in and out of traffic and just smiling and laughing.
I was just going to show Galen Becky's Hideaway forever.
So it's like fun. So I'm digging.
He made me say it.
Yeah.
What was that? I missed something there.
No,
He
she just
called it Becky's Hideaway, and then I repronounced
I
it
see.
Becky's, and it's not Becky's Hideaway.
Axel's hideout.
It's Axel's.
Yes.
So
My favorite
2024.
motorcycle was my first, and I was Christmas morning, I think it was 1974. I'm 6 or 7 years old, 6 years old. And so maybe it was 73. But anyway, Christmas presents, and I didn't get very many. And I'm like, kind of as a young man,
You got a lot of
sulking.
coal
I was sulking a little
in the
bit,
sock.
right? And so all the presents were
Yes.
gone. And so I'm over there just kind of looking at the stuff I got. My dad's like, hey, there's another present under the tree. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. So I go over there, and there's a box like this big. And I'm like, what the hell is that? So I open it, and there's a license plate with a key hanging around the license plate. And it was for a Suzuki, because I was on mini bikes.
Yeah.
Right. This is my first 2-stroke. And I'm like, what? Where is it? Where is it? And he's like, it's out in the garage. So I run out. I go outside, run out the house, go to the garage. The garage is locked. I go back to the house. Now the house is locked. So he locked me out. And he knows I want to see this damn thing. I got a pair of Sunday shoes as well. So
Church shoes.
Church shoes. So he finally lets me in. I get to the garage, and it's an orange Suzuki 75cc. And I'm just like, so I put my church shoes on, and I rode that until it ran out of gas up and down 18th East, where Grant used to live, or his
cool.
dad. That was my first, and that was my best memory of my bike.
Best day on 2 wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like I was a motorcyclist then. I was
Yours?
like, I'm not a mini bike guy.
Probably my first Harley, 86 FXR. It was just
It's a cool bike.
coming from sport bikes and dirt
How old were you?
bikes.
25.
20, I think.
No, really?
No, oh yeah, 20. Yeah, I was thinking my first bike. 22.
You bought it with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
22 or 23, something like that. And I just remember it was sight unseen. I saw it on Instagram and sent this guy some money, and his buddy drove it out. And yeah, it was just raw, real, not incredibly cool. It was a 96. It had enough power, but my first experience with a carbureted Harley, and I just loved it. It was a nightmare to keep up with. Cost me a lot of dough, but I miss it. The smell of the gas, the way it didn't really want to handle super well after 85, but just
Well,
fun.
he was like Wheelie Magoo. He had what was your Yamaha?
FZ07.
Oh wow.
So he was just like
Wheeling everywhere.
wheelie guy.
It's like your son.
Yeah. What's your favorite bike?
I don't know. That's a hard question. I probably owned over 60 motorcycles, 80
Wow.
motorcycles throughout the years. Yeah, I just kind of I'm addicted to them.
Yeah.
Really. I just love them.
So you love all motorcycles in your stable.
I love all Harley Davidson street motorcycles, and then I love dirt bikes. I love anything with 2 wheels. I love mountain bikes, you name it. 2 wheels.
Well, see, you guys all had this early thing with motorcycles. My parents were against motorcycles. My brother went and he got some motorcycles. He raced dirt. I rode a couple Yamaha Y Zingers just for fun on a weekend here and there. But if you asked me about, hey, would you ever be on a Harley or ever be on the street? The answer was no way. I'm a river guide. I race whitewater kayaks. I had my son. He started riding PW 50s. I hung up the kayaks and stuff and the boats and started taking him racing. So then it was all motorcycles from then on, but I didn't ride him. I was with him being his mechanic, hang out, whatever. And then when I got my first Harley from a guy that his son raced with us, he said, you should get a Harley. I got a Harley, had no idea what the hell I was doing. Rode it around for a couple months by myself so I didn't interfere with anyone. So that's why the latest Harley is one of my favorites. Came in later in life.
You don't have to justify it.
Oh, I'm not. I just think it's part of the story.
You're okay.
Yeah.
So
You're fine.
If I had to pick one, is that what you're about to ask me?
No, I would,
But if you had to pick one,
Yeah, if I had to pick one, it would be my first Harley. And I really mean that, just because like that opened the door for me for like riding on the street. Like before I had a couple of old Hondas, like only antique Hondas. And I couldn't ride that bike comfortably for more than 30 or 45 minutes. And so my first Harley was a 1977 Shovelhead, and I bought it as a basket case. It was Craigslist days. This is pre-marketplace.
Right.
Josh doesn't even know what Craigslist is.
I might.
So it's pre-marketplace days. I find this basket case. A basket case is fully disassembled.
right, in a basket.
Yeah, in a basket, boxes, you name it, Tupperware bins.
Right.
So I find this basket case and build it, and not knowing anything about Harley. Like, this is my very first Harley Davidson. And so that bike felt special to me because I built it with my hands, one, and then two, like I just remember cruising down the interstate and having a realization of like, wow, this feels much different than the bikes I had previously. Like, I can comfortably ride this thing. And I was telling you about like the start of Prism, and then I ended up going back to school.
Right.
I would ride, this was a chopper, like no front brake, extended front end, 1977 Shovelhead chopper. I would ride that bike to school, commute on that bike every single day to school. Like when I went back to engineering school. And it was funny because like engineers, they like performance type things.
Right.
And so they would see me show up on this bike and they'd be like,
What the hell are you doing?
yeah, that's not an engineer. Like, you're going backwards in time. There's no performance on this bike.
Right. Maybe that's what made it cool.
Yeah.
But the engineer side of it too is like, it's fairly simplistic in what can go wrong. And
That's right.
and then if you're hands-on, you can basically fix it on the road.
You better be hands-on.
You have a
with the
little
chopper.
tool.
You better be
Tool
hands-on.
roll, right?
You better be able to fix on the side of the road.
Right.
But you know what blows my mind about this, the four of us in this room right now, and it's to think of where we started and the love for a motorcycle and riding. Oh, let's just ride. This is that. Now this is our lives. This is what we do. We talk to Harley on the phone. We make videos. It changed from a passion to giant passion.
I mean, that's such a good point. Like, if you were to take me back to, I think I was 19 or 20 years old when I bought that Shovelhead. I paid $2,000 for it.
Right.
I mean, it was fully disassembled. You can't buy a Shovelhead for that anymore.
Right.
Not now.
So if you take me back to that time, I would have never guessed I would be doing any work with my favorite brand.
Right.
You know, like Harley was my favorite brand, like from my early 20s on.
But now you can get a phone call just as we can and go, oh, it's Harley.
Yeah.
Hey guys, what's up?
Oh,
That's trippy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
my first street bike was a 750 Midnight Maxim, like an 85 Yamaha. And it was just balls to the wall.
And back then you didn't think about putting parts on it, right? You rode them
You
the
did.
way
I
they
mean,
came.
not that. I mean, that already came
Right.
just beautifully decorated. But we didn't wear helmets either, like you're in Utah.
Yeah.
And I hung that bike up because I saw a wreck happen, and I saw brain matter in a telephone pole, and I'm like, I gotta. This is too crazy. I'd rather go get hurt on dirt because I never saw brain matter on a telephone pole.
I've seen guys get pretty jacked up on
you
dirt.
can't.
Yeah, for real. Do you guys still ride dirt at all?
I haven't ridden dirt. My son and I probably 20 years until the Pan
We did the
America
Pan
stuff.
America, and that was the last big journey on a dirt.
But I put him on a PW 50 and cruised the fire roads, and but maybe 20 years on that.
Wow.
Well, probably not, because I've ridden them at the cabin. So 10 years, 5 years.
Right.
You said you have a Husky. What is it?
Yeah, I said that, but I sold it like yesterday. The day before
no
I came,
way.
I sold it. So I actually don't have a Husky. But I
Gotcha.
bought a new dirt bike today.
What'd you get?
It's a Beta 200
Two-stroke.
two-stroke. Yeah,
Nice.
it's a woods
Okay.
bike, like hard enduro woods bike. Is
Yeah.
what I want to get into.
And then
so.
you guys got plenty of that out there. So
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
That's kind of the riding that's out there. It's not motocross.
Yep.
There are some tracks, but that's not the majority of it.
Hmm.
Super technical rock climb type stuff. So
I get tortured maybe 5-6 times a year tops with some good riding like that. And then I hang it up and I get back to work. They give me a hard time.
Well, the first time we met him, he came limping in with a crutch and a broken ankle from a dirt bike, right?
Yeah.
So
But I walked it off.
you did. You
I think he
walked
was
it
on a
up.
little wheelie machine.
Yeah, I had the knee
Little
scooter because they
scooter.
said
Aye.
no weight on that ankle for 6 months. I'm like, all right, I'm scooting around. Good times.
speaking of Ironheads, you guys have your Ironhead chopper. I forgot to tell you about my favorite ride.
Do you have one?
I did. One of my motorcycles was an Ironhead. There's this event called Vintage 1000, and it happens in like Tennessee, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina area. And it's 1,000 miles off road on pre-1979 motorcycles.
Really?
Yeah. And so I was the first person to do it on a Harley Davidson. And this was like
Really?
5
Nice.
years ago or something like that.
Hey.
And so I did 1,000 miles on a 1970 Sportster with right side shift.
Had to be rough.
It was rough. I did it with all
Yeah.
stock suspension, all everything.
Even the braking, just being used to a dirt bike and being able to feather
Yeah.
the rear. Now it's on your left and all over. And
But it was cool thinking like at that time the bike was 50 years old, and here I
Yeah.
am.
I mean, I think that's really cool, but I have a question for you because on the road, on generally smooth asphalt, the ride's a little rough and you're dropping parts and things are breaking. And how's that on dirt?
Much more so. I remember like my subframe broke at one point, or it like started cracking, and so I had just zip ties and JB weld holding things together. But the bike made it the
It
entire
made
time.
it.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that bike lives in Japan now.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I wasn't even trying to sell it, and some guy was like, "I have to own that motorcycle. I have to own that motorcycle." But
So-
you can pull that bike up on our website under the bike gallery section.
so that happens. So someone has seen you out on one of the bikes and they're like, I need that.
Yeah, keep scrolling down. Scroll right there. That's that bike.
this
Yeah.
one.
Oh, wow.
Dang, look at
Well,
that
that's with
thing.
all my gear on it
I'm
too.
gonna see if I can put that on screen. Look at that.
So now you know why the subframe broke, because I had all that weight on
Right.
it too.
Right?
And
A
it's just
couple
not,
of
it
things.
wasn't built for that, you know. And I totally overpacked. It was like my first.
It's a web
Well,
page.
one, we had to carry all spare parts with us, all of our clothes, and all of our like camping gear, because we camped every night.
Did you ride with someone?
Yeah, I rode with somebody. I mean, it was a group of like 20
No,
of
I'm sure.
us.
Yeah,
20 of us started, and maybe half of us finished.
really.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
So did they have a chase vehicle or
Mhm.
something? Gotcha.
it was all off road.
There it is on screen.
There you go.
Damn.
It's one of my favorite bikes of all
And look
time.
at those
handlebars.
bars too. That's exactly what you want for dirt riding. It's the best.
Stock style.
Yeah,
those
buddy.
are stock Ironhead handlebars.
Look
Wow.
at that.
I put those dirt tires on it for that trip.
So
specifically.
rad. Buy a
What?
shirt.
Oh.
By sure.
So
But I'm sure you guys have like a million fun trips that you've done. Is there one that like sticks out to both of you guys that you always talk about, or all three of you? Sorry, Josh, I'm including you in this too.
Just getting left out over here.
I'm sorry, bud.
Probably
I've-
Canada.
yeah, we get that question a lot, and it's just he'll answer it the way he always answers it, which is the next trip or something.
Every
like
time
that.
we go on a new trip, it's always, this is the best trip ever. And then the next
Okay,
one, this
well-
is the best trip
Well,
ever.
I'll rephrase that. With no new trips, what is the most memorable trip that you guys have done in the past?
Well, I know for me personally, we've been to so many beautiful places, but I will say a memory that sticks in my, it's ingrained in my, if I'm sitting in the backyard just having a cigar thinking, I can envision this every time. I love Monument Valley. I'm a desert guy.
That's
I like to be out there.
It's just so hard. I mean, I think about the first.
Or is there a story that sticks out to you about somebody that you met on the road that's like probably the most interesting story that you have to tell?
I think one of our first trips when we decided not to just do weekend rides, right? Before the channel, where it was simple and it's not that it's complicated now, and we're in Williams, Arizona, or we're in Kernville, California, and we have day jobs, but we're not at them, and we're just chill. And then I think about maybe our first Sturgis run, which was like insane. We had never ridden that far before.
That was cool.
The Canada run was insane last year when we went. You just cannot imagine the beauty of the Icefield Parkway and then down on the 20A in Washington. And so it's so hard to pinpoint, but I think our early days, I filmed this one day. We were in Kernville. I think it was our first or second time we went for a couple nights out, right? And we're staying in the same room, and he's in his chonies, his underwear, brushing his teeth, and we're just roped. And we started talking about this brand that we're going to start, and I still have the video, and it's the funniest thing, but it's the...
You know how many t-shirts we can sell?
It's just so funny, and we were nothing, and we're not that we're something, but it just, those kind of real moments, and we still have them. They're a little different today, but those are things that stick in my mind. I don't think I can just say, yeah, I need to go back there again.
Yeah.
There's so many places I need to go back to, and I could go back and ride Tennessee and Kentucky all day long.
Right.
I haven't done nothing. We have done nothing in North Carolina.
Come on.
I haven't done nothing in Arkansas, where we want to see these things.
Yeah.
We just spent a week in Philadelphia, and it was really not a lot of riding. It was inner city stuff, but we had to see it, because if you think about the channel, we like to tell stories, and there's some incredible stories in this Philadelphia drop, but it wasn't all about the riding.
Right.
You got a favorite place, Josh?
After thinking about it, after you said kind of memories and that sort of thing,
You said Canada.
well, that was just a spur of the moment, but
Yeah.
riding up through Jackson Hole into Yellowstone and staying at Galen's, family cabin in Island Park, Idaho, right on the west side of Yellowstone. We got super lucky with weather. It was just sunny, vibrant days. We took tons of pictures and pulled over at all the signs. And, we're riding along the Snake River, and I'm on somewhat of a new bike for that sort of thing. And was just loving it. We had all the parts I wanted, took all the pictures we wanted, probably ate steaks 10 days in a row. Woke up at the cabin in Island Park every morning and just jumped into the river and saw at sunrise and had the most incredible views. And we lit fires and just had quality time. It was not rushed. It was not all video, vlog, film, social media. It was an actual ride, and that was really cool. So that's
Have you
my
ever
answer.
heard of, you said memories too, like something that stands out. Have you ever heard of the Desert Doctor?
No.
He has a Sportster. He's got stickers all over it. He's got a bandana around his head. He's got hair sticking out and a big white beard. And if you're in the gas station in Escalante, he's going to roll up on you and give you a card and say, if you need anything, tires, bike fix, whatever. He has a shop at his house right around the block. The Desert Doctor. He's out there.
Big tool bag on his bike.
We filmed with him a couple times. Super
Really?
cool dude.
He's just there to help people that get broken down. And he's got
I need to watch
the
that.
wall of his house is coated with tires of everyone's tires he's changed from around the world.
I think the coolest story was we were at the gas station talking to him, and I guess the day prior, some dudes were here from Europe or something. They're all on adventure bikes, and there was a good-looking lady at another pump, and the first guy to swipe the credit card put diesel, and they filled all their bikes up with diesel. So he was just wrenching and flushing and fixing, 10, 12 bikes or something like that.
But we've met so many incredible people along the road, business owners, family members, a kid that was at a hotel in Wyoming that stuck onto us and hung out with us the whole time. It was funny as hell. We sent him a care package. But the people we have met in every state, whether it's a couple days with them interviewing or just on the fly, helpful people, great people across this country. So that's probably why, one of the reasons we keep doing it too, is not only the beautiful scenery, but meeting the great people out there.
Yeah, and it gives you hope that there are good people out there.
Yes, there are.
Yeah, there are. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think probably moreover, there are definitely good people, but I don't think without the channel we would have been from Milwaukee to Maine. I don't think we would have been to Tennessee, Kentucky. I don't think
Route 66.
we would have done Route 6. We might, I don't know, but it's taken us all over this country. It's taken us out of the country. We'd like to get over and ride in Australia or Europe at some point and do some of that. But, you know, when we started this, it was 2020. They were locked down for 2 years and we probably couldn't afford it anyway. And now maybe in 25, maybe we do something over in Europe and go get some bikes and check out the Swiss Alps or Italy or something kind of cool. And because our reach is, as you know, with YouTube and social media, I mean, we've got people, you're shipping to Australia and other parts of the world. I mean, I'd love to see we have people every week coming in here from different countries and wanting to take a picture and inviting us to stay. And I'd love to go explore that a little bit, you know,
sure.
On a motorcycle. I've been there, but I've been in cars and taxis and buses and cruise ships, but I don't want to do that. I want to do it on 2 wheels.
Yeah, for sure. That's cool.
Yeah.
I have as I was prepping for this, I had something that I wanted to ask you guys because I'm personally just curious about it. When I'm doing street riding, like long distance street riding, maybe it's my ADD, maybe it's something else going on. I get so bored. Like I'm just like, I need to do something. Like I need to be working. I need to be making a phone call and whatever it is. What is going through y'all's head as you're doing these rides to stay focused or stay into it, to not be bored? Or are you getting bored?
We can't say that publicly.
Well, it's
All
funny.
the details of the conversation. No, I'm kidding.
It's funny because my son has had the same conversation because he was a racer and a freestyle motocross guy and all this adrenaline.
Yeah.
When he's out in the middle of nowhere, it's like if he's not racing with us or doing something or taking pictures, hanging, he gets on board.
Exactly.
I'm different because I just get into this Zen freedom mode where I don't care. I'm just in the freedom of what's happening, and I'll check birds or that tree or this rock. Look at the high. Wow, everything just, you know, that's me.
It's your meditation.
Yeah, it's totally that's freedom right here.
I mean, I think it's probably more, there's 2 stages to this thing, right? The first stage is us on motorcycles pre-comms. Okay. And on the pre-comms, I think because we're both adventurers. You guys use
Cardo?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Taylor, shout out Taylor. He lives right by me.
Cardo is the best.
Cardo is the best. But pre-comm, because we're adventurers, I don't think we look at it as like we're through the desert. And I think we're both kind of thinking, what horses rode through here? What covered wagons came through here?
100% of that.
Like we're thinking about the history of what's been going on. Post comms, now with comms, we hooked up Lance Jr. on comms 2 years ago for the ride to Sturgis. And after half an hour, he's like, would you guys just shut up?
But then the next day it was him.
But then the next day he was on fire. And what happens is we create these, we want to, I mean, they're not really good shows.
We couldn't put them on.
We can't put them
live
on
air.
We don't want to
YouTube
get canceled
wouldn't allow
quite
because
yet.
they're bad.
It's bad, but we're just
Your
jibber
conversation.
jab. Yeah.
Political bad. We were new characters.
We create characters. We have radio shows. We do all sorts of stuff.
But remember the first year we had Lance and Juan and all
Yeah.
them on comms, and we'd be filming. And now Josh figured out, or we were recording on the Cardos. Now we're including these guys. And the first year with everyone, they're like, "Hey, how you guys digging? Are you digging the road out there?" And it'd just be like, "Yeah, you know,
Sure.
And they're like, well, we don't like to do this. And as soon as Lance started vlogging, now if we ask them, what do you think of the trip? They got the story to tell because they're vloggers now.
That's right.
You know.
I get it.
But I think it's two different, and we were hand signal guys. I mean, we didn't believe in comms. And now with the father and son memories, you'll hold it. But now with the comms, with Cardo as well, I mean, you can record those conversations like he was saying, but it's also become a safety thing.
Oh,
right? Like you've got 7 guys in a pack ripping 95, 100 miles an hour. And it's like, brake right. Guys turning left up in front, watch out. So it's become
something in the road.
Yeah. I mean, there's been more of a safety kind of a thing.
We kind of need it because when we leave and we're with our group and the Thrashing Boys, it's like, I think it's like the Sturgis 1000. We're going fast. We do things. We're racing each other. We're tight. We have comments on our videos. You guys ride too close together.
Well, we're talking to each other. Hey, I'm right on your right.
That's right.
And it's helped us in the direction of what we do. Like, it's not like he just captures a cool shot every once in a while. I mean, sometimes it's like, hey, guys, stack up, back down. I'm going to come up on the right, and then I want you to blast through. So he's helping because he'll remember that in his thing, and he's talking, and then he can edit that piece.
Right.
And I think it's helped us on that. Like, I'm going to put the drone up. I can talk you through. Here's how I want you to break through the corner. So I just think if you rode with us and we put you on a Cardo with the Av,
we ruined Matt Swedlin.
Yeah.
He put him on and he's like just listening, going, holy shit, these guys are,
what is wrong with these guys?
These guys are wild.
The dialect changes, everything is.
We, on one trip when we had them on, and I think we're on a different brand at the time, but we were coming back and we didn't need to film anymore. And we got into this, we had created a dialect, and we, for 6, 7, 8 hours, we're speaking in this dialect. We had a Joe Biden radio show, a Trump, and the whole different thing going on.
Yeah.
And I said to the guys, I said, we're screwed because we're going to talk like this from now on. And we do. To this day,
we've flipped and been filming. And
this is 4 years ago.
Yeah, we've got like our own Cardo acts. It's not even on purpose. You just, the helmet's on, the Cardo's on, and you're just, it's not
we
the
just
same
were very
language.
lucky that when we had Matt on in Florida, Paul wasn't connecting.
All would be okay.
Josh, what about you? Do you get bored riding? Or?
No, I think all of us, but a lot of, I don't know, what I do is spending all this time with a million tabs open and a lot of things going on and kind of thriving in that, to when I'm at home and not doing anything. Like, I'm not a big movie guy. I'm not a big TV guy. Riding long distance or dirt biking is probably the only time where I get the opportunity to focus on one thing and one thing only, and that's riding the motorcycle. So whether we're on I-10 or we're in the Snake River Canyon, whatever, Salt River Canyon, Arizona, just listening to music or no music at all, and just that, like he said, you just get this zen, this sense of freedom. Sometimes you get a little hangry, but chopping it up with the guys, and yeah, quite the opposite. Definitely not bored. It's that one place. It's nice.
I mean, I understand what you're talking about too, but I just don't know that there's any better feeling than being out on a motorcycle somewhere.
So
I don't
good.
care if you're on a dirt bike or.
I can name 3 or 4.
I wouldn't say 3 or 4, maybe 1.
Yeah.
Now, see, if we were in the Cardos riding, he would have explained what the 3 or 4 was.
But I just think not everyone gets to do this, and not everyone understands it. They don't understand. And you've got, the access to a variety of motorcycles. We don't understand the chopper shit.
Right.
But there's a vibe to that. And there's, Brian was talking about it the other day. We saw him, just happened to run into him. And he's not, a veteran of choppers by any means, right? And he'd admit that, but he's been learning. And so they broke down and the pack took off a little bit. And by the time they got back, Brian had been learning enough to figure out where the problem was, and he fixed it. And the way you should see him light up and talk about that, because it's like, I feel good about, I fixed my own bike or my buddy's bike and we got back on the road again.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, so it's not like you call AAA,
But it
no,
could be,
you get down and wrench on it and figure out what's going on. And first stop is could check the headlight wire, because oftentimes that could be a short there. And they found it, fixed it, and back on the road. And then, so we don't quite understand that as much, right? Or at least I don't. I'm
Right,
not
right.
speaking for everyone else, but and then this, like, we're on touring bikes. We love the comfort and the ability just to rip and get going and be where we need to be.
Right.
So we miss a reliable, but we're not campers. You know, we've done one camping video, which did quite well, but we could be, we just don't choose to do that. And so sometimes I don't think we get some of the feeling of like pulling up and sleeping by your motorcycle, which
Right.
is a great feeling.
like Dan.
Yeah.
Dan
There's
loves
nothing
it.
wrong with that. It's just, he can do both. He can do all of it as well. And he does.
Well, we had Brian Bowen and Josh Brolin. They sat on our bikes, the road glides, and we did have a little bit of discussion where we should go on a little trip with them. We'll be on the choppers and they'll be on our bikes, you know, so we can
It'll be
each feel each other's vibe, you know.
Yeah, I was antique only until I got a Pan Am.
Yeah.
And then after I got a Pan Am, I was like,
Insane
It's gonna be
bike.
hard.
They're great on the road. I loved it on the open
Oh, yeah.
highway. I hated it in sand because I don't like sand,
yeah.
you know.
Any bike can sand. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, my buddy's rib cage got smashed. His ankle or hand in sand.
This
Oh,
guy?
Josh slid out in the sand just before we get into the cabin.
Yeah.
He had to
well,
miss him, so he went over the bars this way. So they, you know, and it was because of thick sand.
It's called karma.
little
We're in the comms. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say a little understeer torpedo into a sand pile, and Galen was a little close. So he could have
Was
jumped
not
off.
close.
Then why did you do what you did?
But you came into my lane.
I didn't.
So the
come-
funny thing is
no.
I'm behind him a couple hundred yards with another guy, and we're in a big sand area. And I'm talking to him, and I said, "Oh, when I was in this big thing, and I kind of bermed into a sand wall, but I left the bike up, and I was able to step off it. And I crashed in the sand, and they're like, ah ha ha ha. Next thing you hear, oh, blah, blah, blah. They crashed in the sand.
We're making fun of him, and it's like literally so pitch black. We're late getting into the cabin, so we can't find a line anywhere. Right? We're staggered, Josh and I, and next thing I know, he's in my line, and I'm just like, I'm gonna run over the top of this guy.
You would've
Staggered
been
enough for
safer.
him to be in my tail light.
I was further back than that.
You should have just.
So I got on the brakes and I started sliding, and and I realized I'm going to run right over the top of him. So I just dumped it, and I hit the ground. I felt just popping.
And he still coughs to this day, 2 years later. Probably from that.
So
Crazy.
I went to lift the bike up, and I'm like, there's no way. And then the next day he goes down and breaks his leg. I'm still riding. The next day, the guy that was helping us kind of guide the tour, a side-by-side comes around the corner, hits him,
We'll leave it at
flips
that.
him over the top of the bars. Every day we had an accident.
But the trippy thing is where I broke my leg. We come around this corner, we're on a really nice dirt road. We went through all and then we're coming around the corner, shaded area, thick, hard ice. The guy with us, Randy, gets on it. He's making his way through. Josh is over there. I see Galen kind of go into a
I'm
thing.
sliding.
But I'm like, oh shit, there's ice. I let go of everything, like no brakes, no gas. I just want to see what's going to happen. As soon as I got on it, my front wheel just went boom,
Washed out.
instantly. And I put my foot down, saddlebag. I ripped it off the back of the bike, and that's what broke. The bike ran over my leg.
The pannier snapped is,
The what?
You had hard
The
bags
pannier.
on there.
Yeah, and we ripped them
And
right
that was
off. And the
the-
guy with us,
a mistake.
Normally, like when
Yeah.
Lance and I are riding together, we would stop and look at
And
shit.
go, what's up here?
Like we didn't. It's not Randy's fault, but we followed him,
That's just how
and
he
we
rides.
probably
And
should
he's
have.
pro. He's
Yeah.
can ride. He rides in Scotland.
We
single
probably should have
track.
said, Randy, you ride him down.
Yes.
Because we aren't that. It's the first time on the bikes, and it was unfortunately he was just starting to get the hang of the bike.
Yeah.
We were out of the sand. He was getting used to the dirt. It was a fire road, so he could play around a little bit. And then I locked up and I started sliding into Randy. And so I'm like, I'm going to take him out. So I just parked it in the side of the hill, and I just one of these things. But then you hear, oh shit, I broke my leg. It's like, oh shit. Story trips over.
Dang.
No service. So Randy has to drive
Ride.
10
I think it was
miles.
26 miles.
Was it 26?
Grew up in
Actually,
Kennedy Meadows,
on
Kern.
that, it was maybe 15 to the
He had to
road,
go find service.
but
and get
then
the-
ride on the road another 10 miles. You know,
so it was an adventure,
So
part of the journey.
our friend over at the Harley Media Fleet Center.
Loved you guys after that one.
Well, he loved this
Well.
before when we totaled a brand new CVO
I've heard about
completely.
this.
So,
Sure
like,
did.
we were called the Fleet Wreckers for a while. I'm sure there
No,
was
we
people-
anointed that.
Yeah.
That was our term.
But I think that there was people there that were like, he'd see us coming and go,
Oh,
"Hi, Alan."
So we were taking the bikes back this year from Vegas, where they did the press ride to home, because they wanted us to get some stuff and out. We were going back through Death Valley, and Alan's like, come on, because that's where the CVO happened. He's like, are you serious? You're really going to go back through there? And we're like, Alan, come on, man. It's pretty funny.
But we took 2 bikes back, and we actually had them for a while from Sturgis.
Yeah.
We actually washed them up, detailed them, filled them with gas, and so he was happy when we brought them
Everyone
back.
over there has been great. Everyone we've dealt with has been great.
He's our friend now.
Yeah.
what's that?
I don't know.
Someone,
Someone somewhere.
yeah.
check out.
Well, my man,
Thank you guys.
thank you so much.
This is my time to say bye.
Yeah.
All right, cool. You can find us at prismsupply.com, on social media at Prism Supply. We're continuing to come out with more products, so follow us to see the new products that we're coming out with. And yeah, you guys are doing an awesome thing. Thank you for having me on the show. The space looks incredible. You guys live in such an awesome part of California. I'm jealous of it. Yeah, thanks for doing this. Thanks for helping build this motorcycle community and this motorcycle culture. And for those of you that are watching, thanks for watching, and go support these guys. Like we said earlier, go buy a t-shirt, put it on screen now. All these t-shirts are your options.
Buy a shirt.
Yeah, there you go. Buy a
And
shirt,
support Jake from
buy a
Prism.
hat.
That's right. I mean, this goes hand in hand. So we appreciate you being here.
Yes.
And thank you,
course.
Harley Davidson, for allowing us to meet
That's
great
right.
people like you and forge friendships. And we're going to have to go sleep at your house. Your
Now
wife
your
will kick us
family.
out.
So
Yeah, come on. Now my wife won't care. Should be fine.
But also go look at the prismsupply.com and go support the congregation. I think that's a
the
congregation
congregation
show.
show. The congregation show.
Prism
Everyone, let's go.
Motorcycles.
Go to
.com.
Becky's hideout as well.
Yes.
Yeah, and then if anybody's at Born Free, make sure you stop by our booth. Yeah, we'll be there all weekend.
You might see us at his booth,
Yes.
and
We'll
we might
definitely
be in the
stop over there.
hideaway. Is it the hideaway? Axel's
Becky's Hideaway.
Axel's dungeon.
All right, scream into the mic, why don't you? Good Lord. dog.
You can handle it.
Yeah,
You're pro.
I'm pro.
Oh,
Whatever.
But no, for real, thank you guys.
thank you.
Thanks
man.
Thank
for doing
you.
this. I know it's a lot of work. Like, I don't think a lot of people out here realize how much work doing this type of thing is. Like, for you guys too, and behind the scenes, like Josh, we were talking about this earlier. It is a ton of work. Go support these guys so they can continue doing this.
All right, my guys. Thanks for tuning in
Check out.
And,
We already said it. We
go
already
ahead.
said it. We'll see you guys down the road.
down that road.
Down that
Yeah.
road.
See you later.
And